Good afternoon to you, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack here. It's now Saturday, the 21st of September, 2024. Hopefully your Saturday is going great. Mine is. It's good to be here with you. We're going to talk about this slowly organizing system, part of the Central American gyre. It's finally starting to take shape, and now we're going to see what the computer models begin to do with this. A very complex setup, a large area of energy down there. How well does it consolidate, and what happens in the end as we get towards basically a week from now, maybe even less than that, for our friends somewhere along the northern or eastern Gulf Coast. We're going to have to see about that. Plus, we have a couple areas out in the Atlantic to watch. One, it's a head scratcher, kind of looks like a tropical cyclone to me. We'll see what you think about it. And then at the end of the update today, I've got a very special and exciting announcement to make about a couple of new things that we're going to be doing here with our little mini empire that we've developed over the last 20-something years. So yeah, stay tuned for that. First of all, though, National Hurricane Center homepage. This is the 48-hour outlook. A pair of X's sitting out here. If we expand it out to the next 7 days, we have 4 areas total. 2 of them in the orange, 2 of them in the yellow. This is 96L. This is the leftovers of what was Gordon at one point. This is the one that's really interesting. I'll show it to you in a minute on satellite. This one's going to eventually be 97L, and this is part of that Central American gyre setup. A lot of heavy rain with it already, and a very complex pattern overall. And again, that's just going to be something we watch. We'll certainly delve into this more. And then we have to watch our new disturbance here. A tropical wave going to be coming off the coast of Africa soon, and this has a pretty good potential to develop. And this will probably be our next significant ace maker, the accumulated cyclone energy. This should come off Africa, and we'll have to see what happens. Lots of holes in the subtropical ridge out here, but you never know. It's going to be early in the game to even be worrying about it for the future, but certainly it will be something that's on the map before too long, and we'll have plenty to track as we get into next week. So here are the different players on the field as of today. Clearly, you can see our Central American gyre starting to set up over here. Deep convection, spotty but deep on both sides of Central America over here. So there's your CAG event. And then this right here, you know, just in this wide shot, very tight little circulation in there. That kind of looks like a tropical depression, but I don't work at the National Hurricane Center. That's their call to make on an official basis. So it remains as a low probability area of interest for now. This is the remnant energy there, what's left of it, of what was once Gordon. And then here's our energy coming off Africa that should eventually develop as this moves out into the main development region. Kind of playing catch-up. We really didn't do much in August and for a good deal of September in the MDR. Now that certainly might start to change. And I think as we get into the latter days of September through probably mid-October, we could have a very busy time of it coming up. I'll show you a couple of posts about that as we go forward. So there's the situation at hand. Now, let's peel this back and look underneath the hood, as I like to say, and see what the vorticity pattern looks like. First, this is yesterday, and I want to just kind of compare and contrast. Here's yesterday's vorticity signature. Down here is where I want you to focus. Now, I don't have anything that's going to jump out at you, but it is certainly starting to change. That is yesterday. This is currently. So yes, we are starting to gradually build up that energy down there, and we will see how that evolves over time, and we'll see how well the computer models ingest that data and see what we get. This is a large piece of energy overall. Big rotating area of energy, lobes of vorticity that will rotate around. And the computer models are trying to boil all that down, especially the global models. And until and unless, because it's not a guarantee, we get something that looks like that over here, there's really not much for the computer models to go on. They're just speculating, if you will, within their numeric output, which one of these will rotate around and kind of grab hold of the good conditions and do something. That's why we keep getting this spread of landfalls over here, landfalls up here, landfalls over here, and I won't say everything in between, but we do have a pretty large area where this could end up impacting. And until we get, again, something that looks like this for the computer models to really pick up on. It's just, there's nothing really to hang our hats on, so we just keep on watching. And on the GFS from today's 12Z run, there it is right there, 12Z today. This is the area we're looking at right down here. There's the curvature starting to show up with that Central American gyre. It'll be even more pronounced tomorrow, and the process will continue along. Let's move this out, day by day, and we can see here, again, that crucial 72-hour mark. This puts us to Tuesday morning. A marked increase in the overall, let's use a color that pops better, shall we? A marked increase in the overall structure of the gyre, but does something try to sort of pinch off, if you will? Something like this over here is what we would be looking for, and we're just not seeing that yet. But that doesn't mean that by 72 hours there, that won't be there. I mean, it could be entirely different. We could have an area more concentrated like this, sitting somewhere over here, and that will change the ball game completely, because the faster something organizes before leaving the Caribbean and crossing through the Yucatan Channel or something like that, the more intense it could be later on when we're talking about the low pressure and the wind speeds and so forth. There will be impacts somewhere along this area, almost certainly, and then inland from there, and we got to really watch that, especially considering all the rain we've had throughout this region as of late. So something's coming. As to the extent of it, I haven't a clue, and neither does anybody else on any kind of solid footing. But we know that the upper levels are going to be favorable. Generally, we're getting into a more favorable pattern overall. But look at what happens here, even at day 5, just a large, sprawling mess. And then the real key is the model just not handling all that energy? I mean, look at the huge nature to this. Or will it bundle up, kind of like what you see there south of Mexico? The earlier that can happen in the Atlantic basin over here, coming out of the Caribbean, the more intense it would be going towards land. And if we look at the upper levels, we can kind of see what's happening. It seems like a pretty favorable pattern overall to me. Some fairly strong winds up here on the northwest side, but overall, it's not ideally placed right under the anticyclone here, but that's not the worst we've ever seen. But lots of difluent flow up here to help the air spread out, and then your outflow sitting over here on the east side, and then your upper level low sitting over there. Yeah, it looks favorable enough. And if everything aligns just right, this is 5 days out. We know how things can change. We still definitely need to watch this because, as I said, there will be impacts somewhere along the coast up here and then deep inland from there. But we just don't have a good handle on it because of the loose nature to the system. And let me go back to the lower part of the atmosphere, that 850 part, and then just show you here at day 6. It's inland there, somewhere over the panhandle of Florida. Large, sprawling system, even taken at face value, exactly as the model is showing. This would provide onshore flow all around this area, and you would definitely get some storm surge up in the Big Bend with the way the water pushes up in there. So we'll see. It does have the opportunity to be stronger. We know that. It's the heart of hurricane season still. Not even going to worry about showing you the water temperatures down there. We've gone over that enough. We know they're warm enough. We're just going to have to see what happens. And then look, it pushes inland from there. And all those colors you see, those oranges and reds and yellows, that's that vorticity, that's the energy, that's rain and thunderstorms and flooding and all kinds of mischief from this system that is starting to get its act together. But it's just going to be a matter of where does it bundle, how quickly can it do so, and maybe it never does much at all. We'll have to just wait and see about that. So a couple of interesting posts here. This is from Andy Hazelton down at HRD and associated entities down there in Miami, just to kind of point out who Andy is. A lot of you know him already. Pointing out what I just told you as well, that the thunderstorms are starting to fire on both sides of Central America as the Central American gyre takes shape. And this is interesting to note. The convection east of Nicaragua and Honduras, interestingly, he says, was not well anticipated by recent global model forecasts. We'll see if that has any impact on where the system eventually comes together. And that's the key right there. I'm going to outline it in red. When it comes together, that is the key. When does it consolidate? That's the reality of what we had. The models really weren't showing it. This is the simulated IR. And, it does make a little bit of a difference, especially in these genesis phases of when we're looking for something to develop. So we'll see if especially the overnight run, the 0Z run tonight, captures that a little bit better, because initialization really is the foundation. Bad in, bad out. So we'll have to see garbage in, garbage out. This is an interesting post here from Kieran. And yeah, the old MJO, the Madden-Julian oscillation, is definitely going to modulate basin-wide. And how it's going to affect the ACE coming up and continental U.S. landfall. There's lots of studies on this. It's well documented. And that is going to be put to the test as we round out the month and get into the early part of October. And it could be a very active hurricane period for the United States. These are just some different charts and graphs that he has put out there. You know what? I'll put a link to this tweet itself on today's discussion in the description so you can read through it. But yes, the MJO coming into the favorable phases for Atlantic Basin activity, probably going to hang around there for a while. And we can see this charted out on the 200 millibar 40-day forecast. Generally speaking, the next few weeks here looking rather favorable for the Atlantic Basin. And we could get a lot of activity in a short amount of time. So, of course, we're going to be on top of it, as you would expect. All right, so, you're probably watching this on YouTube. A handful of people do watch the videos on Patreon as well, because I post them there first, and I give our patrons a few minutes head start. But one of the things I really wanted to do, we got these long videos, fairly long. Used to have a name for it, called it the Hurricane Outlook and Discussion, and then other people started using that name. It's not like I could trademark it or copyright it or whatever. That's fine. And I've been doing those for a number of years, many years. And so I was thinking, talking to different people. We had a Zoom meeting last night with our patrons, a very productive Zoom meeting with that. It's almost like a board of directors meeting. It was really cool. And it sparked some thoughts from some of our inner circle people, my closest colleagues, and I've come to the conclusion that two things need to happen starting Monday. Number one, something that I would call kind of a quick update, a short, an Instagram reel, something like that. 90 seconds or less, very quick, vertical video. You've seen it where people hold up the phone or they get it on a stand or whatever, and just give you like a quick look at something that I am thinking about or something that caught my attention. And I can do those several times per day, anywhere. I could do it right here in the office. I could do it in the car while I'm waiting to pick up the kids from school, at the drive-thru of some fast food restaurant, whatever the case may be, but nothing trivial and silly. We're not talking about that. We're talking like, maybe I just saw the latest model come in on something or a recon pass. Just something that I would normally probably text my inner circle, my closest colleagues, dude, did you just see this? Whatever, and tell you about it in a very short form, 90 seconds or less, quick update. So starting Monday, whenever it hits me, I will do it. I'm like, hey, I want to tell people about this real quick. And we'll throw it out there. And these will be on YouTube as YouTube Shorts, Twitter, that's easy, and over on our Instagram, HurricaneTrack on Instagram, which should feed into Facebook, I think. I don't know. And just to answer you, if you're asking, no, not TikTok. Sorry, tried it. Didn't work for me. A lot of reasons. We're going to focus on Twitter, and I know it's called X as well. That's fine. To me, it's always Twitter. We're going to do YouTube Shorts and our Instagram. The other thing, and this I'm really excited about, the Hurricane Outlook and Discussion is going to make a comeback as a formal thing, right? But it's going to be live starting this Monday. I don't know exactly what time. The times will be variable because my life is complicated. The weather's complicated. I might want to wait an extra hour. So if I say it's going to be out at 8:30 in the morning, going live at 8:30, but I should have waited until 9:30 because some important piece of data was coming in. So that's where the little quick updates could come to really be useful. I might have something at 7:30 in the morning that I do a real quick update on, and then I can tell you, hey, we're going to talk about it on the Hurricane Outlook and Discussion live, and let's say we're going to do it at 9:30 Eastern Time or whatever. So one thing will help to inform the other. You understand? It'll just be a way to just keep up with everything with more nuggets of information centered around a morning update that's live, and then I will do my regular video just like you're seeing here later in the afternoon. So the live update will be on YouTube Live, and we will, when I'm done, just kind of looking at everything. It's going to be very informal. And when I wrap it up, we will go over to our Patreon and our Discord, and we'll see if anybody has any questions. No stories. We don't need 5 paragraphs on a hurricane that you went through. That's not what we're looking for. But maybe you have an observation. Oh, did you see what so-and-so said? And, oh, let me look at that. We'll take a few minutes to address what the audience is seeing and thinking. And then, of course, we will certainly look at the YouTube chat as well. When we do this live, I can just jump right over. Actually, we've got it baked right into our Discord, so I can look at it on my phone, see what you're asking, what you're thinking about, and we can address it in real time. But I don't want it to end up being 45 minutes long or anything like that. Half hour or less ideal. Just a quick live look showing you my world, what I look at, setting up the afternoon version of this video right here. All right, I know I just covered a lot. You might have to watch it again to absorb it all. But the point is, you definitely want to subscribe to the channel. You definitely want to make sure all notifications are turned on, because this live stuff, these shorts, I think this is going to be a great way to just include more people in the HurricaneTrack orbit of all the stuff we look at instead of just having one video a day. There's no reason to have to do that. And these other things are not too much effort, and I can get it done quickly from just about anywhere, build it right on my iPhone, and off it goes. All right? So if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. Seriously, you'll love it. I think it's going to be a good thing for us all. And it will spill over into winter storm season. Oh, yeah. I'll go after the winter storms and our severe weather stuff when we get into the Hail Project Season 2 next year. I can update you on that kind of stuff as well. And, of course, field missions. Man, it's just going to be exciting. And we'll center it focusing back towards YouTube is the goal. All right? So let me jump back on here and say goodbye for the afternoon. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on our slowly organizing system out there. I would assume by this evening this will be 97L. We'll see about that. And then we'll start getting better, higher resolution, more focused computer models, the HWARF and the HAFs and all that stuff. But until then, it is slowly organizing, and all we can do is watch and wait and be ready if it does come our way. All right? From all of us at HurricaneTrack, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your time and attention. I'll talk to you again tomorrow, and then Monday we'll start this whole new thing with these new videos. I am looking forward to it. Again, Mark Sudduth here. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon.